Hello, everyone, and welcome to another YouTube Hangout. Super excited to be here with my very special guest. There's so much that this guy does. It's hard to introduce him, but I'll give it my best shot. He's an author. He's an entrepreneur. He's an investor. He's a podcaster. He's a chess master. USA Today named his book, Choose Yourself, as one of the 12 greatest business books of all time. And I just found out that even though it was released in 2013, last week was still the #1 nonfiction book on Amazon, so that's awesome. He's been called the Oprah of the internet. It said he owns 15 things to his name. He likes to tip in $2 bills. Feels like college is a waste of time. He was rich and then lost his condo and lost at a $1 million loss, and said that he's made every mistake in the book. So that's a lot to go over. He's got a new book that he's working on called Reinvent Yourself.
You have to reinvent yourself if you repeatedly lose everything and have to come back. So you become an expert.
I love it, man. Welcome aboard.
By the way, maybe many of these things are connected. Maybe the kind of person who thinks college is a waste of time is also going to lose a lot of money repeatedly. You never know. I could be wrong about everything.
So you know, the audience here is entrepreneurs, mostly entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs. I'm reading through your bio. I'm trying to figure out, man, we got James for half an hour. Where can we pull out the most value here? And one of the things that I really was intrigued by was your daily practice. So maybe we start there.
Sure.
How have you found success through your daily practice as an entrepreneur? And then what kind of feedback and advice do you give to other people who are trying to struggle with their daily practice?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, what a lot of what was happening was, I made money. I built a business. It was a great business in the 90s, building websites for other companies. Sold it, cashed out, lost everything. Then I built another business, built it up, made money, lost it. Built up another business, built it up, sold it, made money, lost it. I kept doing this over and over again. And at some point you have to ask, you know, I've done this so many times. The common denominator is me. I can't really blame anyone else. I can only blame me. And I did it so many times, it's almost like statistically significant if I say to myself, what am I doing wrong on the way down and what am I doing right on the way up? So it was kind of easy then to figure out, well, here's what I'm doing right on the way up. You know, forgetting what I was doing wrong on the way down because it was different things each time. But on the way up, always, 100% of the time in each business, and there was like maybe 20 different things that I could say this about. 4 things I was doing well. Physically, I was maintaining my health. Emotionally, I was hanging around with good, positive people who I loved and who loved me. Creatively, I was making sure I was creative every day. And so that could mean exercising this creativity muscle. I call it the idea muscle. So writing down 10 ideas a day, every single day. Because your idea muscle will atrophy if you don't exercise it every single day. Just like if you don't walk for 2 or 3 weeks, you'll actually need physical therapy to walk again because your leg muscles atrophy so fast. The idea muscle atrophies even faster. It will atrophy after a day or 2. So you have to really exercise it every single day. And it improves if you exercise it. Like you become an idea machine, and you need to do that in today's world where it's not like you can just kind of hide in your cubicle and get promotions and so on. You have to actually really, you know, do something to achieve success. So, and then finally, it was important to be, and this sounds kind of cliche-ish, I almost hate saying it now, but I had to learn to be grateful instead of being anxious. So, you know, gratitude and anxiety and complaining can't all exist in the brain at the same time. Like, you know, and in particular, it's very easy to be grateful for the easy things in life. Like, oh, I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for I'm alive, whatever. But it's really difficult to be grateful for what I call difficult gratitude problems. So like if I lose my leg, how can I be grateful for that? You know, thank God I haven't lost my leg. I think I'd have a hard time being grateful for it, but that would be an example of a difficult gratitude problem. So that's in a nutshell the daily practice. Physical, emotional, mental, and let's even call it spiritual health. Trying to improve on that every single day, 1% a day. And that, I don't want to say it catapults me to success because I'm not quite sure what that means, but I will say whenever I have a failure, my bounce back gets faster and faster each time, no matter how large the failure is. And I've had some enormously large failures, even in the past 2 years, much bigger than any I've had before in my life. And yet I bounce back incredibly quickly now, just by reminding myself to get back to this daily practice.
So my audience likes to give me a hard time because I always play with my ring and I have it on my thumb or I have it on different fingers. I hear something happening in the background, some clicking. Like, what is it?
I have poker chips that I'm playing with.
Poker chips. That's interesting. Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Is it always poker chips, or just you have to have something?
I don't know. I just got these poker chips actually. I used to play a lot of poker, and when you play poker and you're like sitting there thinking, it's like not unusual to like play with the chips while you're thinking.
Right.
So I'm sorry. I apologize. I will put them over here.
No, I like it. It's good. Go for it. Whatever helps to create the process.
Anymore.
No, I was just curious because they asked me why do I wear a ring on my thumb, and I don't. I play with it and it just ends up on my thumb sometimes instead of my fingers. Just I like having it while I'm thinking.
You know what I used to do, and this is really bad for a podcast, but I used to do this 100% of the time if I was on the phone with somebody, is I would, as soon as the phone would ring, I'd be picking up the phone and I'd be firing up the Internet Chess Club, and I'd start playing chess as soon as I got on the phone. And I could never have a phone conversation without playing chess at the same time. And what would happen is I wouldn't really be paying attention to my phone calls, and my chess ranking would go down on the Internet Chess Club, because you really can't – multitasking is a really – bad thing. Like nobody can really multitask. I think that's sort of a BS thing. And but I was just addicted to doing that, and it wasn't really helpful. Now I actually have better phone calls and I play chess better.
How about multitasking on a bigger scale, where you're trying to be an entrepreneur and an author and a chess master and like all these things, and entrepreneurs get their attention divided? Can you do it, or what advice do you have to make it happen?
You can't do it, right? So what I tend to do is in the morning is always devoted to really focused, or I try as hard as possible, really focused writing. And believe it or not, entrepreneurship is sort of easy compared to something that creative like writing or taking photographs or whatever. So I'll save the afternoon for easy things like entrepreneurship. And then usually the lessons from entrepreneurship will feed back into the writing. So all the time that I'm engaged in like entrepreneurship activities, I'm thinking to myself, how can this feed into the writing? Like I just wrote something a little while ago about a guy I'm involved with in a deal, and how he's such an excellent networker. It goes above and beyond all the BS articles I see, like 10 ways to network better, or how to be charismatic, or whatever. Like all those articles are BS. And I see somebody who actually has made, tens of millions of dollars from networking, and I see exactly what he does. And it's so different from any of these articles. So I wrote about that because, again, I see him, I last saw him about a month ago, but I saw what he was doing on a daily basis, and I wrote about it today.
And so what about other things? Like when you're playing chess, are you also thinking back to the book? Are you also thinking back to entrepreneurship? Is it all just like a and to you, or are they separate things?
No, they're all mixed. Like chess, so I grew up playing chess, and I knew many, and playing games of any sort is a great way to speak a language to adults if you're a kid. Like if I'm a kid, I'm not going to talk about politics or religion to an adult. But if I'm a kid and I play chess and you play chess and we're the same level, then we speak the same language. And so I got to learn many things growing up playing. And one of those things you learn playing games is essentially how to be a killer without having to kill people. And so when I play, the path to mastery in chess or poker or backgammon or any game is not that different from the path to mastery in any other area of life. And so it's something that I can address in writing, because I think a lot of my writing and a lot of my podcasts and so on is about peak performance and is about that path to mastery. And I'm fascinated by it because I've attempted it, not necessarily succeeded at it, but attempted it so many times. And so playing chess and trying to understand the subtleties of it definitely feeds my writing.
Do you purposely make time for chess like you do for writing?
No.
No, eh? Not anymore? No. You used to.
In fact, I used to, yeah. But my 17-year-old was visiting me yesterday, And I convinced her and her boyfriend, oh, let's go over to Union Square and see what's going on there. But really what I wanted to do was run into the chess players outside and just play some games of chess. Like, I didn't care if my kids had a fun time or not.
the brutal truth right there.
Yeah. They're not here. They're at a museum. So I can say it out loud.
So they don't watch the video.
They're never going to listen to this video.
Hey, come on, man.
after I'm dead, maybe they'll go back. Oh, we gotta listen to what Daddy said.
So back to the schedule. You have this routine that helps you. What do you do when you fall off, or when you feel like, I got it taken care of, I don't need to do that gratitude thing today? Like, how do you get back on that horse when you fall off?
You just get back on. You can't regret falling off, because falling off is there's two arrows. So the first arrow is when you fall off some routine, and that will hurt you. The first arrow will always hurt you. But the second arrow, which is feeling regret or guilt over falling out of a routine, the second arrow is what kills you. So you can't feel that second arrow. You just have to get back on the routine. I never feel guilty about missing it. Now, if I don't write every day, I actually do feel that second arrow a little bit, but that's unhealthy. And I try to get back on the routine as fast as possible.
Do you feel the immediate gratification of all the tasks? Like the gratitude thing, does it like resonate immediately with you, that it brings you that joy to do it? Or is it something you have to convince yourself to do?
No, you immediately feel the effect, because again, you can't, if I'm not doing it, I could be feeling anxious about it. I tend to be an anxious type of person. So if I'm not doing gratitude and all these other things, or practicing the idea muscle and writing and being healthy and being around good people, I tend to feel more, worse about myself or anxious. And all of these things have immediate effects, and they have long-term effects that you build up. Like now, I almost never hang out with people who don't satisfy me in some way. Like I'm really good at saying no now.
And for someone who's doing so many things, when you get into, that state of flow, how do you stay there and not, feel like, oh, I got to go do my podcast, or I got to go write this book, or like I'm really in the zone on this thing? Do you try to stay there? Or do you just come back to it later? What's your process through that?
Yeah, I mean, usually there are a lot of things to do per day, but again, nothing beats for me writing in the morning. So, and if I don't write in the morning, then I just figure out, I go back and forth between reading and trying to write, and I just stay focused on that until I write, which might mean bad things. I might then not return phone calls or emails or be involved in logistics that I need to be involved in, or companies that I need to be involved in. So I get behind on a lot of stuff. But writing is the thing that I feel has the most impact for me, both personally and professionally and creatively. And I just try to make sure I do it every single day.
Would you let that?
The physical health and emotional health and all that other garbage.
Would you let that bleed into the rest of your day? Like, just you wake up and you're insanely inspired and the writing is off the charts, and like the next thing you're gonna write is just, you're so proud and happy in the moment, but you have this interview with this Evan Carmichael guy, or you got to deal with this business or whatever. Like, would you let that bleed? Would you push that stuff off? I'm just curious where the boundary is when you're really in that zone feeling it.
If I'm in the zone, no, I don't. All I need to do is check the box. So I need to say, okay, I wrote something good today. It might take me 15 minutes. It might take me 9 hours. You can't do anything all day long. I don't believe in, maybe if you're computer programming or playing a game, like a computer game, you can do it for 12 straight hours. But I'll tell you a story. So Anatoly Karpov was the world chess champion for something like 10 years, 11 years. And he was always one of the greatest players in the world. He said the maximum he could study chess per day was 3 hours. So this is the guy who was like the peak performer in his field, and he was the best, and maybe one of the best ever, the top 3 or 4 ever. And all he could do was maximum study 3 hours a day. He couldn't do more. So you can't really do something all day long. I don't really believe that flow works that way. If you could engage in flow for 15 minutes a day, so flow is this kind of mental state where you're doing something you love, and you forget everything else sort of fades away. You feel like this zone of quality and so on. I don't think it's important to do it all day. I think it's just important to get in that state, like let's say once or twice a day, but not stay in it all day. That's impossible.
Well, you've got a lot of fans already in the live audience. We got Laura writing in. I'd kiss you if I had the chance to run into you on the street, James. So that's one of the more exciting ones in the comments that are coming up.
I hope I don't have to brush my teeth all the time then.
To the topic of choosing yourself, for people who aren't familiar, what's the thesis of the book?
Well, think about this, Evan. What are you doing right now? You're doing kind of a TV show. This is like a little talk show you have here. Now, it used to be the case you had to be either David Letterman or Jay Leno to have a talk show, 2 people out of 7 billion. Now you could be David Letterman. Now you could be, David Letterman, Jay Leno, or Evan Carmichael. Like, you have your own talk show. You got rid of, you said, I don't need CBS or NBC or ABC to approve of Evan Carmichael. I could just call up anybody I want and interview them and put it on the 3rd largest search engine in the world, YouTube, or the 2nd largest search engine in the world. You created your own talk show. You didn't need a gatekeeper. So that's choosing yourself. But at a deeper level, it's doing this daily practice so that you're healthy enough to do what you did. So if you're like, you have this picture in this background of you with your beautiful family. If you didn't have like your emotional stability, if you weren't like physically healthy, like if you were sick in bed, dying of something, if you weren't like grateful for these opportunities in your life, like I could see you take a lot of care in the show. You have these huge posters hanging up behind you of your heroes and the legends in your life. Like, obviously you're creative. You put together the show. You ask on people who interest you. You read a lot. So you do this daily practice, I could see, and then you're allowed to choose yourself. Get rid of the gatekeepers and say, oh, I don't need YouTube. I don't need a publisher. I don't need someone to approve of me or promote me or hire me, or I don't need to work up and be a sound engineer, then a comedian, then I have a talk show. You just went out and did it. And that's choosing yourself in a variety of ways.
So is the problem for people that they don't see that they have the opportunity to be their own NBC, or they don't have the courage to go and take the leap, or both? Both.
Like, I remember one time I was talking to a guy, and he actually was in the business of placing ads on YouTube shows. And I said to him, why don't you do, but he was really into gaming. And I said, why don't you do a YouTube show about gaming? Those are really popular. Like a YouTube show about Minecraft, can't get more popular than that right now. And he said, well, I don't have a good enough camera. And I said, are you kidding me? Give me your phone. And he had like the latest iPhone. And I said, your iPhone has a good enough video camera for you to make popular YouTube videos. In fact, and I told him the example, Michelle Phan has millions and millions of YouTube views, a billion YouTube views on her makeup tutorials. Her makeup company now, I think is valued at something like $50 million. But her first 55 videos, which she shot on her iPhone video camera, were horrible. Low quality, whatever. And then but it's idea driven. So she did a video about how how to do your makeup like Lady Gaga does. Huge views through the roof, regardless of the quality of the camera. And then now suddenly from the advertising, she had enough money to buy a better camera, and she's this huge star now. She chose herself completely. And there's no excuses anymore for stuff like this.
So how do you break through the limiting mindset? Like, I need the camera, I'm not good enough, I'm, whatever, like that blank when they look themselves in the mirror and they say, I'm not successful because of, whatever that blank is. Sure. What's the path beyond it?
The path is this daily practice, everyday physical health, which just might mean 8 hours of sleep, eat well, move around. Emotional health, be around people who inspire you and who will support you in your dreams. Creative health, like write down 10 ideas a day. Spiritual health, like be grateful every day. Just do that every single day, and you'll get the mindset. That's a guarantee. Like that, I'll give you your money back if you don't get the mindset. I'm watching this video.
Is there a recommended time length? Is it 15 minutes on each thing? Is it just checking the box however long it takes? 2 minutes?
Check the box. Just check the box. And you know what? Do it with intent. Like, try to get a little bit better at it. So, try to eat a little better every day. Try to be like one guy wrote to me and said, I've been following your daily practice. I've been sleeping well, exercising, eating well. I've been writing 10 ideas a day around. And then on Friday nights, I go out with my friends and they laugh at all my ideas. What should I do? And I wrote back to him and I said, I have a great idea for you. Stay home on Friday night. And I never heard from him again. So he easily could have improved his daily practice by just not hanging out with those friends who were putting him down. Don't hang out with people who put you down all the time. Those aren't good friends.
Yeah. And is this something you recommend starting the day with, or doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter. But it's an all day long thing. If you catch yourself, let's say you're commuting into New York City and there's traffic on the George Washington Bridge. You could either say, oh, there's traffic on the George Washington Bridge. I hate this. Or you could say, wow, I'm driving into the most amazing city in the world that everyone else wants to be into at the same time as me. This is such a great thing. I'm really grateful for it. So it's kind of like a way of catching yourself all day long and saying, oh, I'm bored waiting at the dentist's office. I could take out a little pad and, write down 10 ideas a day, my 10 ideas for today. So, it's something you could do all day long.
So how do you catch yourself? Because this is like
my little pad.
Okay.
Always available. I got a pen somewhere. Got my pen with me. I always steal pens from hotels. I highly recommend that.
What
do you buy a pen in today's world?
To catch yourself, right? Because you might have 30, 40